G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're out in the woodlot. Mostly today the goal is to try and wear off some of the Christmas goodies. If we can improve the woodlot while we burn off some of those excess calories, well, that's fine and dandy, but
bonus.
Right, the goal today is to just try and limber up and get a little motion out of fat, lazy bodies with too much turkey in them. Anyhow, I was out yesterday and Debbie had asked me what I was going to do, and I said I was going to do some skidding, and she said, oh, well, if you wait till tomorrow, we can do a video. Anyhow, so today is the day that I was now scheduled to do my skidding. We'll do a bit, but I've altered my plans a bit too.
Uh-oh.
So
I don't think you shared that with me.
No, of course not. To have a little look at this small section that we're working in, let's move along.
Take a walk down.
We got lots of fir regeneration.
Oh yeah, there's no shortage of fir.
Spruce, and I think that's a white. We have this little tiny white pine. He's had a nip out of him. That's partly why trying to get some sunlight down on the ground here. And then back here a little bit further,
I'll try not to step on that little guy.
we have a little bigger white pine, and he's been nipped off.
He's also had a chomp out of him.
And I had totally forgotten about this tree. So if we come down here, I've done some more cutting.
Yeah, I see you've been, either you or the beavers have been busy.
Yeah. Well, it's because as I was browsing around here, because that's what I do, is browse around, I rediscovered, because I totally forgot,
Rediscovered something you lost.
this beech.
Aha!
And of course he was surrounded by this white birch and fir and so on. And so although they're highly shade tolerant, I thought it would be appropriate for him to have a little more sunlight. Granted, there's a 97% chance he's probably not resistant to the beech bark disease, but we'll give him a chance to see how he will perform.
The beech bark disease, they can still grow to maturity, can't they, with that?
Some can.
Some can.
It depends on the amount of resistance. So not too far from here, we had our largest beech, which was about 20 foot plus, maybe a bit, 3-inch pole that I had freed up 5 or 6 years ago. And within a year or two, his crown was starting to fill out, and he really seemed to be coming along. And I haven't looked at him in a number of months, but the last time I checked, he was darn near dead.
Yeah, we'll see in the spring and see what leaves out on him.
And I would say you could tell he was infected with the beech bark disease even at a fairly young age. Although he could have been quite old, because he would have been shade tolerant, so
Yeah.
he looked young. So,
Like me.
right. Have to catch your growth rings. So anyhow, there's a whole range, my understanding, of resistance to the disease. Some are apparently totally resistant, and that's about 3%. So they show really no sign of the beech bark disease. Others get it, but can go on into maturity and reproduce and produce beech nuts and so on. And others don't even make it to that stage, obviously. So it's a range.
Who knows what this guy will do?
Right. Yes, there's no way of knowing until actually testing. So what we're about is to try and get some of this stuff out of here without damaging any of our undergrowth. And instead of skidding, because I was thinking I would back up, hook the chain on to this big white birch here. So I could back Ralphie up to here and hook onto him. Now I'd probably have to cut him in two because I don't think Ralphie can take him as a single piece. But then I thought, environmentally easier and better, if Ralphie's sitting there, why don't I just buck him up, split him, and toss him directly right into Ralphie, and then I will want to skid out that piece that's over in there.
You will have a chunk that you're going to skid. Okay.
Right? So I think that's what the plan will be.
So your new plan is to cut them in carryable chunks
Yeah, because
and cart them out, not drag them out.
yeah, because it's,
Just watch where you put your big feet. Don't step on those little pine guys.
I can drive over it. That's okay. As long as it's over the
As long as you're
not
straddling them, yes.
And you may want to check out this interesting hole that's here. Something has resided in that hole. It's about less than halfway, about what, 10, 12 feet off the ground.
So a woodpecker of some sort, I would assume?
Well, made the hole, I would almost certainly say yes. What was actually living in there?
Could be something else.
Yes. Now there was a there was a white birch I cut quite a few years ago, and as the tree is starting to fall out of somewhere, runs this mouse. He was obviously living somewhere in that tree, and he wasn't happy I cut his house down.
You
But
evicted him.
I wasn't aware of doing that, so bad on me.
Did you ever get your big one all sharpened?
Beg your pardon?
Did you ever get your big saw all properly sharpened?
Oh, I think so, yes. Also, yesterday I put a brand new chain on my little saw,
Ah,
but also almost forgot. Talking about this birch down here.
what, the big one that you're going to do?
Yeah. So this birch, which I fell yesterday, wanted to go in this direction right here, which is basically on top of that existing pile of top debris. He had a fairly broad crown, so he was interlaced a bit with this red maple. And so I knew because of his weight I was going to have to wedge him in the direction I wanted. In the course of wedging, two of these just broke off just basically at where they were sitting, with the smaller pieces into the tree.
So they just snapped.
Just snapped. So when I lost two wedges, I did continue because I had more, fortunately, but it became problematic to get this tree to force its way through the branches, because once they're up there, those branches have a lot of resistance, and it's a 1-inch branch can provide an amazing amount of resistance to get a tree. Once you get the movement going and momentum, then everything goes well. But so anyhow, eventually I got tired of wedging and realized this was going to be a long exercise, especially when I didn't have the wedges I was counting on. And so I basically just sheared off a part of the hinge here, and the tree just swung enough that he dropped, but now he's 20-25 degrees off of where I originally wanted him to be.
He went close to where you were hoping.
Well, yeah. Anyhow.
And too late to get new wedges from Santa.
Yes. Yes.
Bad timing, dear.
I know. I know. I'm going to have to do something about that, though, because my wedge supply definitely got impaired by that.
Not liking the cold?
No, I think he's warm enough now. He just needs a little tweak to his carburetor. The only thing I don't like about this saw in particular is this seems to be fairly, so he needs to be richened up a bit to increase the idle speed. And then possibly 20 minutes later, I'll be turning him back down because he's running too fast. And then he'll be running too slow. Well, it's not. He often goes for days and days and days without ever requiring any adjustment.
But you do have to
But
keep
just every so
adjusting up
often,
and down.
And it's aggravating. Otherwise, I like the saw. I'll stop there and give any critter a chance.
If there is a critter in there that he can get out.
Yeah. Now it's splitting time. And hopefully it's easy splitting time.
One of the nice birch.
Yes.
That sounds good. Not going to be one of those cranky ones.
Well, yeah, they don't always stay the same throughout. It's got a little bit of rot starting in the center, so good time to get them before. But he's not easy like you would often expect of birch.
I love a good chunk of white birch for the fire.
All in all, this tree scores pretty good on ease of splitting. That's probably about 100 calories or so, Birch. Only about
That's what?
6,000 more
And
to
I was
go.
going to say that's one cookie.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Actually, I think cookies usually run around 75, unless they have icing on them. And I don't ice mine. Of course, the shortbread ones with all that fat in them are probably higher. Sounds pretty hollow.
Holy.
I don't know how far up that goes, but
Sounds pretty empty. Well, and now the exciting job of loading up Ralphie. I just have to be a little careful. Ralphie came in okay. I put a big load of wood in. Is he going to scrape or catch on something on the way out?
or you're going to need me to push.
Just like most vehicles, the suspension goes down and you get lower. I'll take this one out.
That's all right, the bark can stay. It'll be a great fire starter. You just stepped on the pine. Lift your foot. The other one. Get off him.
Talking to me. If anybody thinks this is a stump, ooh, it is a stump. I thought that was one of the ones I cut off yesterday. Like the big one from there.
Maybe not.
And I was going to be all impressive. Now maybe it's frozen.
It could just be frozen down.
Because I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my joke kind of. Oh, well.
Might want to wait and put that on after you winch the tree out.
No, not necessarily.
Will it fit in the front?
No, I think it'll sit up there pretty good, I think.
Famous last words.
Yep, that would be me.
We'll see.
That would be me. Famous last words. So I think I'll drive up out of there
Right. Get up out of that hole first.
first.
Yup. Famous last words.
There's your flat there. It's got a big load.
Well,
The saw did pop off, didn't it?
yep. It did. There she goes. Nothing elegant about it. Ta-da!
Well, thanks for watching, folks. glad we got at least a little bit of skidding adventure in there. It was the differential lock, engaging Ralphie's differential lock, that managed to make the difference in terms of getting out. Anyhow, he's for a little fella, he's pretty capable, but that's what he is. He's a little fella, and so these are always a bit challenging for him, which is why I can, whenever possible, just bypass all that foolishness and just load directly right on, even if it means carrying it for
An extra few steps.
10, 20 feet, whatever. Just adds to the exercise value.
And the calorie burn.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch more days like this, and maybe my old body will be back in shape again. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Stay safe and be careful out there.
Catch you next time, guys.